An iceberg is a large floating mass of frozen water, made up of fresh water or a mix of fresh water and salt water. Most icebergs are huge and can measure anywhere between 100 feet to thousands of feet in length and up to 100 feet in height. The real size of an iceberg can vary depending on various factors such as its shape, water temperature, wind, and current. In general, an iceberg is usually composed of around 90% of its mass beneath the ocean's surface. This means that while the total mass of an iceberg might appear large, its real size could be much smaller because of the submerged portion. The average iceberg, for example, can measure up to 25 feet above sea level and 200 feet below. The parts of icebergs that do peek out of the water can sometimes be distorted by the wind and current, so it can be difficult to know its real size. Icebergs can also have irregular shapes which further complicate its size estimation. The largest iceberg measured to date is the A68A. A tabular iceberg roughly the size of Delaware, measuring around 2,239 miles in area. Some icebergs may look small but can be relatively big in size when compared to ships and other man-made structures. For instance, the Costa Concordia cruise liner that crashed in 2012 was around 270 meters long, while the Titanic was just 269 meters long. When compared to these ships, the average iceberg, though not as large, can still pose a significant risk to boats. Generally, the majority of ice that breaks away from Greenland and Antarctica is between 16 and 23 feet, though some can be much bigger. However, these icebergs can receive snowfall over the winter months, which can add to their size. The size of an iceberg can also be affected by glacier calving, when large chunks break away from the glacier and become independent due to rapid melting. The presence of salt is also a factor in the size of icebergs. Brackish water icebergs melt faster and so remain smaller in size than those that have a lower salt content. The surface of an iceberg is subject to erosion, especially at points where water may flow over the iceberg's edge. Due to the effects, the faces of some icebergs swell more than others, causing them to look larger than they really are. Salty water can also get trapped in the ice, expanding as it freezes and contributing to an iceberg's size. Scientists have found that icebergs may measure up to 4 times the size of the portion visible above the waterline. It's difficult to accurately predict the total size of an iceberg, as the part submerged in the water is harder to gauge. The more stratified the layers of an iceberg, the larger it will appear. Other variables such as the angle of the iceberg's face will also affect its size. Factors such as the ocean temperature and any collisions with other icebergs may affect how an iceberg looks as well.